Looking for big things here in 2024, his second CFL season.
The CFL Coach of the Year in 2023, Ryan Dinwiddie. Boy, talk about bittersweet, a 16-2 record, but then losing to Montreal in the East Final. And then Rick Campbell, 10 years ago, he got his first head coaching job with the Ottawa Red Blacks. This, his fourth season with the BC Lions. And yes, as the panel talked about, expectations high for the Lions. We're underway. The season begins for Toronto and BC, and the Lions get the ball first. It's Terry Williams on the return, and he gets it up near the 30. So we'll get our first look in 2024 of that man. Vernon Adams Jr., who threw for over 4,700 yards in 2023.
Yeah, just a terrific season for VA. Making the move from Montreal to BC, and of course taking over after the departure of Nathan Rourke. They didn't miss a beat. He was right in sync with his offensive coordinator, George Maximek. A few new weapons in the arsenal, including an old friend in William Stanback in that backfield for the new season with the Lions.
VA had a major hand in getting Stanback to sign on with BC as a free agent for this season. And they give it on the sweep to Alexander Hollins, and a good pickup. Gets up across the 40 for Hollins, who was one of the top receivers in the Lions last year.
And along that offensive line for the BC Lions, keep an eye on Darrell Broxton, who was their top offensive lineman last season. He's at the left tackle spot. We mentioned William Stanback moving over from Montreal as the Lions wanted to be a little bigger at the running back spot this season, a little more physical.
Just keeping it on the ground on the second and short. For Vernon Adams, and looks to be enough.
Mentioned a few different names in that receiving core, different but familiar. We saw a guy, Justin McInnis, a fair bit last year. He becomes a starter this season. Hayden Eberhardt as well, spot duty last year, opens the season on the roster.
It is McInnis wide to the left in the first down after the Adams pickup. So via his time, he dumps it off. Finds William Stanback for his first touch as a BC Lion, and he gets it up across the BC 45.
Take an opportunity to have a look at the Toronto Argonaut defense. Jake Ceresna moves over from Edmonton to take over at defensive tackle. Dwayne Hendricks now in Hamilton. Sean Oakman starts the season on the injured list. The former Lion, Quincy Bourget, is in at the nickel linebacker spot. We may see him rotate back to the free safety spot a little bit. Look for a big season from Mason Pierce, a mid-season addition for the Argos last year. 3 picks in 9 games in 23.
On a 2nd and 4, and they've got him. Vernon Adams is tied up. Big pressure. Jake Ceresna, one of the newcomers, and Wynton McManus on the blitz coming in, and will force BC to kick it away.
Wynton McManus, without a doubt, one of the Toronto Argonauts' defensive leaders. You see him in the middle this year. Comes free on a little bit of a delayed blitz from the Argo linebacker. He and Ceresna get free to wrap up VA.
So the drive stalls for BC. Stefan Flintoff back bunting for the Lions, just inside his 30. And Janarian Grant, the new returner, former Bomber for the Argos, taking the spot of Javon Leake, who went to Edmonton. And Grant is taken down by David Mackey. Cameron Dukes had 2 starts in his rookie year with the Argos. 24, did have a couple of starts last year.
Yeah, obviously very limited experience as a rookie, but Cameron Dukes had some flashes, certainly. Talented guy, small school player from Lindsey Wilson. But big upside for Cameron Dukes in the CFL.
Here we go, first down, standing at his 35, and he tries to take off, still wants to. Now he looks downfield, and he completes it too, up near midfield for another newcomer for the Argos. That's Rasheed Bailey, the ex-Bomber, with a catch right away and a first down Toronto.
And Cameron Dukes demonstrating a little bit of his mobility here, keeping this play alive. Rasheed Bailey, big target, nice addition in free agency for the Toronto Argonauts. Coming over from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, where I think he was sometimes a bit of a forgotten man in their deep receiving core.
Won a couple of championships in 19 and again in 21 with Winnipeg. Bailey and a first down and handing off. And another one too, Kadeem Carey. Remember him, former CFL leading rusher with the Calgary Stampeders. First carry for Carey as we look at that Argo offense.
Yeah, offensive line has been a strength for this team. Great depth. Former first-round pick Gregor McKellar makes his way into the starting lineup at right guard. St. FX product. I mentioned Rasheed Bailey, one of the, I'll call it unsung bargains of free agency, a guy who signed a little bit late, but I think a guy who could excel in a larger role than what he was provided in Winnipeg.
Gain of 4 for Carey. It's a 2nd and 6, and movement along the line with the snap of the ball, and they blow that one dead.
Procedure. Toronto number 52. 5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
It's the center. Peter Nicastro is called out by the referee Tim Croker.
Argo's thrilled to have Peter Nicastro back. East Division Rookie of the Year a couple seasons ago. Missed a lot of time with injury last year. University of Calgary product.
So with that, they're pushed 5 yards back. It's a 2nd and 11 now for Dukes. Looking off to the left. He completes it. Shorter pass. It's Bailey again trying to get up near the 50, but still well shy of a first down. Patrice Rene, the starting cover linebacker. What a great story of perseverance for that Canadian kid who had to deal with a lot of injuries, and looked like he had a great camp with the BC Lions.
Yeah, getting an opportunity. The Lions have done such a terrific job with their Canadian talent under co-general managers Neil McAvoy and Rick Campbell.
John Haggerty is the punter from Sydney, Australia. Terry Williams chased back inside his 5. And good coverage too. See Jack Cassar in there to help out with the special teams coverage. Back comes VA. CFL's leader.
Former college star at both those stops. Originally BC Lions property. His rights were traded to Montreal in exchange for a first-round pick before he entered the league. He finds his way back to the West Coast and looks right at home.
They start deep in their zone, throwing it for the 3rd time. A flag is out. Williams stand back with the catch. The run afterwards easily enough for a first down, but we'll see what the flag is all about back in the Lions backfield.
Offside, Toronto number 40. Penalties declined as the result of the play is the first down.
So that counts for Standback picking up the first down and buying BC a little bit of space right now with that offside against Toronto.
Here's another look at the numbers for Vernon Adams last season. Career high 4,700 plus passing yards. Leader in so many categories.
He and Standback were close friends as teammates in Montreal. Glad to be paired up again. Adams completes that one. That's Aiden Eberhard, who wore 77, or excuse me, Justin McInnes on the receiving end. McInnes with his first catch of the season, and a good pickup there for BC on first down.
Yeah, McInnes, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, high pick with the Riders, signed with BC as a free agent last year, and I truly believe exceeded their expectations. This was a guy who had a terrific college career at Arkansas State. Big things expected of him. Didn't pan out in Saskatchewan, but I think really found his place in this Lions offense.
Adams stays in short yardage and works his way to the right, and the ball does come out. It's in the hands of the Argos. The ruling here by the official. It's still a BC ball, a ruling that Adams was already down.
Royce Mechie, the man on the spot who got after that one. As you see, one of the Argos co-defensive coordinators, former star linebacker Kevin Iben, he and Will Fields taking over that role, filling the void created when Corey Mace departed for Saskatchewan, becoming the Riders head coach.
See Adams clearly down on that before the ball came out, so they're up to their 41 really quickly. They're starting at the 10 for Adams and throwing to the right again, and that is caught. Javon Catoy with his first catch in 2024. Another BC first down close to midfield.
I mentioned earlier the BC Lions, the job that they have done assembling a great collection of Canadian talent. Look at the receiver spots where McInnes is in the starting lineup now. Cotoy, of course, a fixture.
Back to stand back, but Jake Seresna, former Edmonton Elk, comes in and gets him in the backfield for a loss.
Yes. Seresna, a nice pickup for the Toronto Argonauts, as mentioned, with Dwayne Hendricks departing in free agency. See the numbers, 12 sacks. Is guy, primarily an inside guy, but moved around a little bit on that Edmonton D-line last year. But a real force. Be a terrific addition to that D-tackle rotation.
Started his career with the Ottawa Redblacks. Pressure on Adams. He gets away. Wants to dump it off. He's got no one to throw it to, and he keeps it, and he gets across midfield, but not nearly enough for a first. So third down punting unit is coming on for the Lions.
The Argos, despite a number of changes on the defensive side of the ball, still demonstrating that ability to get after the quarterback.
Janarian Grant, in his time with Winnipeg, establishing himself as one of the great kick returners in the history of the league. Dynamic, explosive, as was the guy that was here before, Javon Leake, last year, the Argos. So here's Grant, new home, off the hop, inside the 15, and really takes something out of it, picks up 5 or 6 more yards before he heads out of bounds. That was the CFL's leading rusher in 2022 with the Calgary Stampeders. You wrote it. I know you like it. On Crave, back here in BMO, and it's a scoreless tie right now, BC and Toronto. The Lions haven't won here since 2019. Cameron Dukes at quarterback. Hands off. Kadeem Carey is greeted in the backfield. Patrice Rene. And the Canadian starting at strong side linebacker for the Lions. Another big play.
Yeah, and again, continuing to talk about the evolution of the Canadian talent base. You've got Christian Covington coming back from the National Football League to join that defensive line. Patrice Rene winning that nickel linebacker spot, cover linebacker spot. Deontay Evans, veteran, comes over after picking up a Grey Cup with Montreal to join that secondary, the field half spot.
Dukes to throw, second and long. It's complete. It's a first down. It is more. Mackay Polk, new receiver. DeMonte Coxey injured and not able to play. Polk inserted in the lineup. First year at a Mississippi State, and a big first down for Toronto.
Yeah, and in Coxey, they lose a big target. They get some of that size back with the 6'3" Mackay Polk joining the lineup. Good to get him involved early in this offensive action. Just a crossing right. Easy completion for Cameron Dukes as they also try to let the young quarterback get into a little bit of a groove here.
Mackay Polk, gain of 23, handing off. Carey again, finds a hole, and more Kadeem Carey, ripping off his biggest run as an Argo here in the first quarter, and a first down in Lions territory.
And they get the receiver, Tavares Daniels, involved in the blocking scheme here, leading the way for Kadeem Carey. Nice job as well, carrying out the fake by Cameron Dukes.
17-yard gain to the BC 46. Argo offense on the move. And handing off to Carey again, left side, this time a couple more. Back-to-back carries for the former Stampeder running back, newly to Toronto, and a look at what he has done in his 4 seasons with the Stamps.
Yeah, obviously an impressive 4-year start, 4-year stint with him in Calgary. Toronto Argonauts, obviously A.J. Ouellette, beloved here in Toronto. Big part of their Grey Cup championship, 1,000-yard rusher last season. He goes to Saskatchewan in free agency. They need a replacement. They found a pretty good one in Kadeem Carey, a former CFL rushing champ.
2nd and 8, BC 44. Dukes with time. Has a target too. Throwing it in coverage near Gary Peters. It is caught Tavares Daniels, who had over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career last year, stopping at 1,009.
Yeah, Tavares Daniels, the veteran in that receiving core. Tight window completion there for Mr. Dukes.
So the Argos have something going here in scoring range inside the 30. Back to Carey. Breaks a tackle, works his way down closer to the 20. So a couple of good pickups by the Argos. Pickup at running back, Kadeem Carey. Manny Rugamba making the move back to boundary half.
And as we take a look at the Argos with Cameron Dukes, relatively inexperienced quarterback, no surprise to see them leaning on Kadeem Carey in the run game in the early going here. Try and soften up that defense, force the defensive line to honor the run and not be in such a hurry to pin their ears back and get up the field, hopefully buying Dukes a little bit more time.
2nd and 3 after that one. And back to him. Why not? Needs a 3. Looks like he gets the 3 as well. Across the 20, and another first down for the Boatmen, courtesy Kadeem Carey.
With the heavy workload early in this ball game. Always curious to watch the impact of a successful running game early on that defense as the game wears on.
6 carries, 31 yards, flags coming out. The BC 19 before the snap of the ball.
Offside, Toronto number 88, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
A little early start for Rasheed Bailey.
Yeah, he was about 15 yards downfield there while everyone else was still in their stances. It was open though. Back it up 5 and try that again.
Back out to the 24 and a 1st and 15 now for Dukes and the Argos. The season opener for these teams on the blitz, getting rid of it, completing it to Dejan Brissett. His first catch of the season and another first down for Toronto. It'll be a 1st and goal coming up inside the 10.
Dejan Brissett, number 2 overall pick back in 2020. Just going to drag across the formation here. That's a couple clear outs in front of him. He comes underneath. Lets his legs do the rest. Nice job there to move the sticks for another Argonaut receiver who had a breakout year, career high last season, almost 600 yards for the Mississauga, Ontario native.
38 catches, 594. He had 5 touchdowns as well. You're right. I mean, that was easily his best in his young career in 2023. So the catch there for a first down. 1st and goal. It's caught. Touchdown. Kadeem Carey. He's found a new home. And he's taken it to the house early in this one.
Very fitting, given his contributions on that drive, that Kadeem Carey would get rewarded with the Toronto Argonauts' first touchdown of 2024.
Ten plays, 84 yards in just over 5 minutes. And Lirim Hajrullahu, back in the CFL, he hasn't kicked in this league since the Grey Cup of 2019. And he pushes that point after try to the right, so a miss as Terry Williams brings it out, hoping to score a couple of points for BC, and finally is taken down under a minute to go in the first quarter. So no point after on the Hajrullahu miss, but they do get the first points of this game, courtesy Dukes to Carey, and a touchdown Toronto.
Great ambassador league. What was it like talking to the crowd?
I mean, it was amazing. It was special, Coach, and you know, to have an opportunity to come back to somewhere that has been so special to myself and my whole family, it was amazing.
Now, welcome to our family now at TSN. New for you. Talk about this defense. So much change for the Argos. How do you help that change as a leader?
Listen, change is inevitable when you win. And we won the Grey Cup obviously 2 years ago, and everybody across the league was able to recognize the talent that was in this locker room. But what you do after the change is basically you rely on the foundation. You rely on the leaders of this team. You look at this offense, a great line led by Hunter, and you got everybody across the board. Those guys are really strong. Cam Dukes is going to have to rely on them, the receivers, the Bears Daniels. You look at the defense, they're monstrous, and as much change as there's been, there's a lot of guys here looking at Wynn McManus, Falardo Rimolade. The list really goes on. There's a lot of talent from the front to the back end. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, right. Back to you, Rod.
Hey, Lapo, forget coach and player here. It's a couple of analysts we got down on the sideline.
Putting them both to work today.
They are. And congrats on being honored, Enoch. That big interception in the Grey Cup picked off Zach Collaros late in that game and helped the Argos to that victory. So after the kickoff, BC ball down 6, and that's caught by Alex Hollins and Leonard Johnson, the new boundary corner for Toronto, making the tackle.
Hollins, not a big body. Takes a big jolt there as you saw the head snap back with Johnson closing quickly.
Adams keeps and gets more than enough and finally gets stood up, but he had to get it to the 46, and he got a couple of yards past that. So to start the second quarter, it will be a first down for BC. Was the final play of the first 15. We wait for them. There they go, calling quarter time. And Toronto picking it up on offense on that final drive. BMO Field. The Lions and the Argos getting it started at 24. Kadeem Carey with the touchdown for Cameron Duke. Last drive especially, and it was actually a touchdown pass by Dukes to Carey, short one. And into the end zone, Carey goes with his new team, his debut in blue after 4 years with the Calgary Stampeders. So this drive continues, and a 1st and 10 for BC to start the second quarter. William Stanback, the ex-Alouette, former leading rusher in the Canadian Football League as well, picks up about 4 or 5 yards for a second down, BC.
Well, we heard Lapo and Enoch talk a few minutes ago about some of the changes to this Toronto Argonaut roster, some very significant ones. But when you look at the players they brought in, there's some impact guys in that group. They're a strong team. Contender in the East remains strong. They're going to have to be that to keep up with the Alouettes, who look terrific on opening night.
2nd and 5 now. Pressure coming. Gets it away. Complete to Hollins. Adams to Hollins. And down at the Toronto 40. And a first down for BC.
Alexander Hollins lines up in the slot here. Crossing motion with Gatoy. Nice job working back to the football to help out his quarterback.
From the Toronto 40 now. Play fake, stand back. Pressure's on Adams. Get tripped up, but he got away. Went McManus and Chase, and he is hit coming in at Benji Franklin to greet Adams there near the first down mark. Franklin, his 2nd year with Toronto, and Adams looks a little sore from the contact he took from 23.
Yeah, Adams at the end of this one is just trying to get down in time, but Benji Franklin closes a little too quickly on him. Ends up taking a pretty heavy shot.
VA has 5 carries for 22 yards, and short yardage here. We'll push it over, just needing an inch and getting the first down. So it continues inside the Argo 30. Response drive here for the Lions and Rick Campbell. 4th year as head coach in BC after he left the Ottawa Redblacks following the 2019 season. And they've been knocking on the door in the West back-to-back years, losing in Winnipeg in the Western Final. Looking to take that next step in anticipation of Grey Cup 111, which will be at BC Place this year, November 17th. 1st and 10, Toronto 29. William Stanback goes right side. Stiff arm, breaks a tackle. and picks up some more yardage. Stanback, who had a long touchdown run in the Grey Cup last year in the first half for the Alouettes in their victory over Winnipeg.
And we've mentioned Stanback amongst the off-season changes. You see some of the other ones for the BC Lions. I talked earlier about that receiving core. Justin McInnes steps in to the starting lineup full-time. Played a lot last year. There were injuries, particularly to Dominique Grimes, and demonstrated that he was ready for a bigger role. So the Lions, despite losing impact guys like Grimes and Whitehead from their receiving core, feel pretty comfortable with the group they've got.
2nd and 5. Must be a time count. A flag does come out.
Time count violation. BC number 3. 5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
Just didn't get the ball snapped in time, so that pushes them back.
We should note in talking about the shuffling of the deck in the receiving core, Keon Hatcher missing from the Lions lineup to open the season. Another 1,000-yard receiver, he along with Alexander Holland. So Hatcher opens the season on the 6-game injured list. Former NFLer Travis Fulgham get a long look at his place.
There's Fulgham, number 8 at the bottom of the screen. Over the middle, caught, touchdown Lions. And the biggest hit that Justin McInnes took was from the goalpost. The catch, and over the line, and an answer right back for BC.
Yeah, McInnes had a knack for the big play for the Lions last season. 4 touchdowns on 46 catches. As you see, provides a big target. Tough to miss, crossing the middle.
Justin McInnes, 5th year, the Canadian out of Arkansas State, who had nearly 700 yards receiving in a breakout year last year. And a mistake with the point after Stefan Flintoff and Sean White as lose a handle on the ball. So in this game, the point after tries, the teams are collectively 0 for 2. So unconverted touchdowns, but a touchdown no less for McInnes to make it a tie ball game here at BMO Field. Appeared to hurt his right hand on that play, getting some attention. He's 8 for 8, 111 yards though, and that touchdown. Also 6 carries in this game. So 6-6. Janarian Grant on the kick return up across the 30 for the Argos. So Cameron Dukes coming on. But there you see Adam still trying to work it out on that right hand, injured on that touchdown play.
It's 1st and 10 Argos.
Certainly something to keep an eye on, as he didn't appear comfortable. Didn't see anything with the hand on that particular play, and I wonder if on the hit that he took from Benji Franklin a play or two earlier, if there may have been something that just sort of, as the adrenaline wears off as you hit the sidelines, started to kick in.
That one is the first incompletion of this game. Manny Rugamba comes up on that pass by Cameron Dukes and knocks it away.
Well, this Manny Rugamba, his play and the play of Patrice Rene, whom we mentioned earlier, sort of speaks to the depth they've developed with this BC Lions team. That Marcus Sayles, the guy who's had a terrific CFL career to this point, ended up being released at the end of training camp by this team, as Rene stepping up was able to take the nickel linebacker spot. That allows Rugamba to move to halfback and made Sayles expendable.
Try running a draw here, but that door is closed by the BC Lions. See Josh Woods, the middle linebacker, in there, and nothing doing on that carry. So the punting unit will come on.
Good stop there for the BC defense as they look to maintain momentum here in the second quarter.
The Aussie Haggerty standing at his 15. Terry Williams is back at the BC 34. up at the 40 and some room closer to the 50. So the Lions have some momentum now to their last possession as Adams gets ready to come back in. They had a good drive, tied the score 6-6 second quarter. Anything on the touchdown pass looked good. McInnes taking it into the end zone, and so back comes BC now, a 1st and 10 at their 48 in a tie game, handing off to William Stanback, and he gets tripped up. That's Mason Pierce who prevented 31 from breaking off a big one, but as it stands, still a good run on 1st down.
Yeah, that's a big play by Mason Pierce coming up from the secondary to get involved in run support. As you can see, Stanback was just starting to get rolling. He starts off to the left of his quarterback. Nice job along the offensive line. David Neville pulling around to seal that edge. Spring is RB.
And it's Vernon Adams Jr. on the carry and short yardage to pick up the 1st down. So Adams staying in the game in those short yardage situations too. The backup quarterback, by the way, former Rough Rider Jake Dolegala, number 2 in the depth chart.
Tough for a 6'7" guy to get down low behind the line on those QB sneaks.
The short yardage wouldn't be his thing. First and 10. Argo 50. Pump fake. Adams has time. Big look. Open receiver. And it's Travis Fulgham with his first CFL touchdown. A new ad for the Lions. And that receiving core is still looking strong despite the changes, as Vernon Adams with his 2nd touchdown pass of this season opener.
Well, you think about over the last couple of years, as we've seen guys like Alexander Hollins, Keon Hatcher, maybe start the season on practice roster or on the injured list, and then jump into the lineup when an opportunity may come along because of injury and develop into stars. There's a belief that Travis Fulgham could be that guy for this year's edition of the BC Lions. A terrific 2020 season in the National Football League with the Philadelphia Eagles.
And the point after Rashawn White, and Fulgham had been drafted the year before in 2019 by Detroit, but that is his first CFL catch, and he's probably going to remember it. From Vernon Adams, whose hand appears to be just fine, thank you. So the Lions fell behind. It was the Argos striking first, but all BC since then.
And you'll see Fulgham, number 2 receiver, 2nd from the sideline here. They're going to use that way. You see the little stutter step that got the defense to settle down. You may have noticed in the initial replay kind of a hitch, a fake by Vernon Adams Jr. Gets the defense to jump, thinking that a hitch is coming with that cluster of receivers. And Fulgham turns on the jets, gets in behind coverage for the home run ball.
That was Eberhardt further out wide and open as well. They had 2 of them down the side wide open. And it's Fulgham who gets it. So BC with the lead. Now by a touchdown, 13-6 as Flintoff kicks it off. Back to Janarian Grant. Just outside the 10. No further than the 30. Approaching the midway point of the second quarter, and despite any concerns about the health of Vernon Adams, seems to be fine as Fulgham celebrates his first CFL catch, which found the end zone. On a 3-play, 62-yard drive.
VA may have someone step on his hand before every game at this rate. Couple TD passes.
You see the grimace, though. You can tell it's still
fighting through it.
Looks a little tender. 9 for 9, 161 yards and a couple of TDs. That's not too bad for the CFL's leading passer a year ago. Argos to get it started at the 32, down 7. Cameron Dukes rolling right. Josh Archibald. Ball comes loose as well. Lions pick it up and take it into the end zone. Thibaut Debaye. Another BC touchdown. Just pouring it on now.
Lions defense swarming here on Dukes. And I like what the Argos are trying to do here, trying to move the pocket a little bit with Dukes, particularly having established their run game in the opening quarter of this ball game. Try and get him sucked in, but Josh Archibald, the McGill product, tracks down the Argo quarterback, forcing that fumble. And the global defensive tackle, Thibaut Debaye, comes up with the recovery and the touchdown, much to the delight of his teammates.
A couple of unsung heroes on that BC defense. Josh Archibald, third year out of McGill. And as you mentioned, the global player Thibaut Debaye, fourth year out of Towson, picks up that fumble of Cameron Dukes and takes it in. And what's going on, BC? They were down 6. They're now up 14. Team, but TD just got a TD, courtesy Josh Archibald, in a great defensive play.
Yeah, Josh Archibald made his mark on special teams for the Lions last year, getting a little more of an opportunity in that D-line rotation to open this season, and definitely making a case for more playing time as Thibaut Debaye, known as the Belgian freight train.
There you go.
Scoops and scores.
Can we safely say he's the first Belgian to score a CFL touchdown? I guess we should do a little research on that to be sure.
Yeah, but certainly he's puts himself among the all-time leading Belgian scorers in CFL history.
You'd have to think. The Belgian freight train picks it up and rumbles. For Josh Archibald forced that fumble. And things really unraveling for the Argos. All Lions in this second quarter after they fell behind by a touchdown. 3 straight. A couple of touchdown passes by Vernon Adams, and then the defensive touchdown. Debaye taking it in on the fumble recovery. So back we go to Cameron Dukes, who was hardly on the field that last possession. And he's throwing it deep, and nobody near with the Argos. The closest was a Lion. It was Adrian Green coming across the safety.
Yeah, Tavares Daniels is suggesting that the coaching staff take a look for pass interference there, suggesting that he was impeded on his way to that football. We'll keep an eye to see if we get a challenge flag from the Argos sideline. In the meantime, the challenge for Cameron Dukes now is, how does a young quarterback respond after a critical error and some adversity? He's got to be able to shake that one off, get things back on track.
He did start 6 for 6, including a touchdown pass to Kadeem Carey, but that seems like a while ago now. Forced out again to the right, and on the run is Dukes. And takes a little pop as he is heading out there. Jordan Perryman in the corner, making sure he heads out of bounds. Third down coming up. John Haggerty to punt.
Yeah, Perryman, newcomer to the BC Lions secondary. Body out on the corner, 200-pounder. Lowering the boom there.
So Haggerty, one of several CFL punters from the Pro Kick Academy in Australia. Joseph Zima as well. Cody Grace, Jamison Sheehan. A lot of talented Australian punters in the Canadian Football League. Haggerty in his third year, played at Western Kentucky, gets rid of it here, and it's up a little bit in the field as Williams comes in and tries to get the no yards. As the Argos have him wrapped up. Football, there was a flag down thrown late on that punt return by Terry Williams, but the tide has really turned here in the Lions' favor.
No yards. Toronto number 93. 15-yard penalty. First down.
We do finally call one as the fans boo that one. Benoit Marion is called for the no yard, so 15 more yards tacked on, and everything is going the Lions' way right now.
You can see Argos head coach Ryan Dinwiddie pointing up to the big screen here, suggesting that there was no one within a 5-yard radius when the ball was first touched.
They did not throw that flag immediately. So now at the Argo 50, Vernon Adams taking charge. Get some help from his D2. Here's William Standback. Picks up maybe 2. in his first game as a member of the BC Lions after starting his career from 2018 through to the Grey Cup victory last season with the Montreal Alouettes.
Terrific career for William Stanback in Montreal. Time for a little change. The number 31 joins his old partner in crime, Vernon Adams, in the backfield here in BC.
On a 2nd and 8, off the fingertips, tip drill, intercepted. Deshaun Amos has it. And the Lions turn over the football, and the Argos will have it up across their 40.
A huge defensive play there for the Toronto Argonauts, and one of their veterans, Deshaun Amos, coming up with that as they try to rebound here in the second quarter.
After the interception, legal block, Toronto number 13. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down, Toronto.
So as you see that return, there was an illegal block, and it's Leonard Johnson, new corner for the Argos. They still do maintain possession of the football.
A good break to the football there by the free safety, Royce Mechie. He gets in front of the intended receiver, Justin McInnes. Even though Mechie doesn't touch the ball, clearly obstructs the view of McInnes. Lances off his fingertips to Amos, who was waiting in behind.
You know he's short, so he's up.
So a 1st and 10 Toronto. They're pushed back to their 20 now after the penalty. But they do get the turnover off the toss now. Kadeem Carey has a touchdown in this game. His first with the Argos as he gets it up across the 25, and a 2nd down coming up.
Number 46,
Ben Laddick at a UBC in his 4th year.
Laddick over 100 tackles last year, joining some pretty select company amongst Canadian defenders in the CFL in that regard. Terrific season for the former UBC Thunderbird.
Had some time in the middle, and also starting in this one on the weak side. Dukes complete. Bailey has another catch. Ball comes out. And it's Argo football still, ruling Bailey was down. That's all Toronto would need, the way this half is turned in the second quarter, as the Lions do try to sell it. And now they initially said Argo football. Have another look here.
Just on the timing, I would have assumed Bailey was down.
The previous play is under review by command center.
But watch the way Bailey goes down. I think his elbow with the ball hits the ground and comes loose before his knees do.
Well, that look, you're right, tells a different story. Here's the units, by the way, have changed. The Lions anticipate they're getting this football in the Argo zone.
Yeah, technically he's still on his feet when that ball comes out.
There's something new this year. We're showing you a live look inside the command center as they will look this one over and just be sure it actually is a fumble. And from what we see, it looks like indeed it was that Rashid Bailey coughed it up. So could be a chance for the Lions to add to their total before halftime. Patrice Rene in on the tackle.
Well, I think we're going to see this one overturned with the Argos maintaining possession because it's his elbow that hits. His hands or feet can touch and he's still up. Anything other than hands or feet, he's down. The elbow makes him down.
So here's the ruling from the command center.
After automatic review by the command center to determine that the ball carrier is down. With contact, first down, Toronto.
Okay, so they go back to the original call that it is a first down for the Argos, so they do catch a break there. It's at their 31. It is a first down on the Bailey catch.
Argos dodging a bullet there with the ball still in their own territory.
4:22 in the clock and counting until halftime. Keeping it on the ground, and Kadeem Carey, but BC's defense is closed. You see Christian Covington in there. They try to improve this year the rush defense. He's a big part of that. Big Canadian kid who in the last several years in the National Football League.
Yeah, originally a 5th-round pick of the Lions back in 2015. 9 years, over 100 games in the NFL. And the Vancouver College grad played his college football at Rice. Finally comes home.
Passing. Carey. On a 2nd and 10. Across the 40. And looks to be another first down for the Argos, continuing this drive in the final minutes until halftime.
Kadeem Carey continuing his busy evening, already with a touchdown reception in this ball game. Again, providing an outlet for his quarterback.
Dukes is 8 for 10. Completes another one for a first down. Perriman was all over Tommy Neal, but Neal makes the catch, and they're in the Lions zone.
It'll sound like a broken record to talk about all the Argo receivers who had career highs last year. Tommy Neal out of McMaster. Another one, he got into the lineup a fair bit after Curly Gittens Jr. was injured. And he was working at about a 1,000-yard pace, finishing with 384 yards on 32 catches last season.
With that catch by Neal, they issued the 3-minute warning. Argos finally. He's had a busy week in Edmonton with the celebrations of the 75th, and seen him yesterday at the game. The Elks and the Riders. Halftime coming up. Dejan Brissett has the football here. So under 3 minutes to go. Argos trying to get more points on the board, get a little closer to BC after the Lions have really ruled the second quarter.
Yeah, and here we're seeing a continuation of what the Argos were trying to build offensively. Play action, move the pocket with Cameron Dukes. That, of course, being off the run game, powered by Kadeem Carey in that offensive line.
So Carey, in his debut in double blue, gets a first down for Toronto. Had the touchdown in the first quarter. Those 6 points. The point after was missed. 2.5 minutes on the clock. The season debuts for both of these teams. The end of week 1 here at BMO Field in Toronto. From the 32, Dukes trying to settle in. He's taken down. Settles down on the natural turf here. Number 95, Marcus Moore, in his second year with BC, coming in and getting the sack.
Moore, another one of those bigger bodies added to the interior of the Lions defense. Saw spot duty last year, but becoming more of a full-timer this season.
Go to Utah State. So a loss of 3. 2nd and 13 at the BC 35. Throwing, it is caught. And turning back is Tavares Daniels, trying to get to that first down. He'll be a yard or 2 shy. So a third down is coming up here, just under 2 minutes to go.
And Daniels finding a hole, but just short of that first down marker. Lions closing quickly to prevent him from getting upfield.
And there's an injured BC player who's taken a knee. It is their end, Josh Archibald, who made the most notable defensive play of this game so far when he tackled Cameron Dukes, wrapped him up, and he forced a fumble that Thibaut Debaye took in for the touchdown. There's changes on that D-line from one year to the next. Matthew Betts, one of the top defensive players in the Canadian Football League, the sacks leader. Demolition Man, of course, gone to the other Lions in the National Football League, Detroit.
Yeah, named the most outstanding defensive player in the CFL last season, as noted on screen. Set a record for sacks by a Canadian player last season. There he is, watching his former teammates here today. Absolute monster season for the Laval University product.
What a year. And signing on with Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions. Getting set for that NFL experience as Archibald, the defensive end, is taken off now. But yeah, the Lions had 55 sacks last season, second in the Canadian Football League. Obviously a big loss in losing Betts, but one thing they wanted to be better at, as mentioned before, was better against the run, not just in the sack department. Off the toss now to Carey. And on a third down, too, as he looks like he has barely made it to that first down marker. Needed a couple of yards on third.
Looking for a little misdirection here, almost like a delayed option. Suck in the D.
Had Mr. Betts intrigued as well. Not a conventional third down and short call, by the way, but they do get it. The 21 now. 1:33 on the clock. Trying to find the end zone again. A look right there. They've got it. Touchdown Argos. Rasheed Bailey. His first game with the Boatmen. And he has a touchdown.
And the new guys getting it done for the Argos. First Canadian carry, now Rasheed Bailey. Big target, beautiful toss here. Into a tight window for Cameron Dukes. Watch the touch on this one. He drops it perfectly in between the two defenders. The Argos close the gap here in the final minutes of the second quarter.
Rasheed Bailey, 4 years with Winnipeg, a couple of championships with the Bombers, and comes over as a free agent with Toronto. And as you mentioned, newcomers on that offense. Getting Carey with a touchdown. Now Rasheed Bailey has one.
Yeah, Bailey's going to line up inside. He's your number 3 receiver into the boundary. So they go trips into that side of the field. And he's going to run the corner route. Again, has good leverage on his defender. And Dukes threads it in there before Gary Peters, the corner, is able to drop to help out on the ball. As the free safety, Adrian Green, has to play that one inside out. He's chasing from the inside.
There's a confidence-building drive, too, you'd have to think, for Cameron Dukes. Had 2 starts last year, filling in for Chad Kelly, but he is their starter right now, with Kelly on the suspended list for at least half the season. And Dukes, who's 12 of 14 for 157 and 2 touchdowns now. The one blemish was the fumble that led to a BC touchdown. But other than that, acquitting himself rather nicely, as is Vernon Adams, who's 9 for 10, 161, and a couple of touchdown passes too.
Yeah, good response there, certainly, for Cameron Dukes.
Terry Williams on the return. Closer game now, within a touchdown, 20-13. BC still leads it. Well, you know, WNBA fans are really excited about number 22 playing in 24. Caitlin Clark, welcome to the big stage. Her next game tomorrow, Indiana Fever facing off against Connecticut Sun. That's 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. What a phenom she's been from college to pro. Watch Caitlin Clark on TSN. Mwamba, little greeting there for Rasheed Bailey. Welcome to Double Blue. With a touchdown on the fake. And it's Fulgham who has a touchdown in this game. Travis Fulgham. That's his second CFL catch. That first one was good for 6 for BC.
Flo Fulara-Rimalade, defensive end, the Argos sack leader last season with 10. Demonstrating his range.
Winding down to a minute to go until halftime. And Adams passes it to Standback, who gets it up across midfield. William Standback, who's had lots of touches here in his debut with the Lions. 5 rushes and 3 catches now as well.
Good opportunity in terms of that combination of field position and time here for the Lions to put some more points on the board before the end of this first half. They're out across midfield already. We await the measurement.
Just a little short, inches away. And the third down coming up. Farhan was mentioning the surprise to see Vernon Adams in all those short yardage situations. Your number one quarterback. Are you surprised?
I'm a little bit surprised, but you know, we mentioned some of the changes to the BC roster, one of them being Dominique Davis had been sort of the short yardage specialist over the last couple of years of his career, was with the Lions last season. Jake Dolegala, now the number 2 guy. Kind of a big target for defenders on a quarterback sneak.
And the Argos say he coughed it up, and they have the ball. So wait and see what the officials rule here. Was Adams down? Just needed a couple of inches, and the ball did come out. They discuss. Well, this would be an interesting turn, wouldn't it?
We await the official ruling here. Got a couple guys that don't want to relinquish their hold on that football.
Ultimately in Lions' hands. It's Kent Perkins, the right tackle, who comes out of the pile with it. What happened?
Yeah, defender got a hand on the ball. I believe it was Jared Brinkman that reached and kind of got a piece of the football as Adams was on his way
The ruling
down.
on the field is BC fumble. BC did recover the football, but did not gain yards. It's first down Toronto.
So either way you slice it, it's a turnover. The Argos take over on downs. Even though the Lions recovered the ball, Adams did not get enough in that short yardage. So 50 seconds on the clock, and time for Ryan Dinwiddie's offense to get a little bit closer here.
I don't think that there's much for BC to challenge here, as you see Rick Campbell talking to the officials. I mean, even if Adams was ruled down and there's no fumble, presumably he's down before he gets enough yards for the first down.
Unless he was arguing he'd gone far enough, and when the Lions recovered it, it was a little further back. But see the challenge flag in Campbell's hand, and it will not be thrown back in the pocket. It goes. So Argo football under a minute to go until halftime from their own 54 for Cameron Dukes. Takes off under the heat, has some room. Dukes takes a slide right down around the first down here, about the 45 of BC.
Yeah, good decision there for Cameron Dukes. The defense drops deep because they don't want to give up anything over their heads. That gives him an opportunity to run and move the ball into a little better field goal position, at least for Liram Hajrullahu.
Just inches away, actually, from a first down. We'll call it second and inches. Liram Hajrullahu, their kicker, who missed an extra point earlier in this game, but a very good kicker in the CFL with Winnipeg and Toronto and Hamilton as well. Last kicked in this league in 2019 in the Grey Cup. BC 45. Dukes has time, completes it, short over the middle to carry to get him a little closer. And the chance for three is looking a whole lot better here for the Argos. 34 in the clock. There's Hajrullahu, drafted by Winnipeg in 2014. He kicked the winning field goal for the Argos when they upset Calgary in the 2017 Grey Cup. And then from there went on to the Tiger Cats for a couple of years. First and 10, 29 on the clock. And that one, a shorter one too, and that's beyond the reach of Rashid Bailey. So they still have time, 26 seconds and a second down to work it a little closer.
Bailey attempts the one-hand stab here. Just couldn't get enough of that one to pull it back into his body. But at least the Argos get the benefit of the stopped clock here.
Ball in the left hash. 2nd down and 10. BC 35. It'd be looking at about a 42-yard try at this point. 24 seconds. And a flag comes out. Could that be holding and push them back further as it falls incomplete? That'd be a big 10 yards if that's against the Argos. Flag thrown in the backfield.
Holding. Toronto number 59. It's a 10-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
Right tackle, Deshaun Allen. The man flagged on this one. And there you see the right hand grab.
Got a hold of Sione Tehema. So back scrimmaging at the 45 with 18 on the clock. Be looking more like a 52-yarder now for Hairolahu. See how much closer they do get these remaining seconds. A little further, it's caught. They do indeed. Richie Sindani with his first catch of the season, and a big one there to get them down to the 32. 12 seconds on the clock, and a 3rd down coming up as Hairolahu will come out to see if they can get to within 4 before halftime.
Yeah. Argos just taking what the defense gave them on that one. The Lions dropping 4 deep, committed to not giving up the touchdown, recognizing that in that 2nd and long situation they could drop off and just come forward to make a tackle on anything underneath, as they did, sort of conceding the field goal attempt.
Lirim Hairolahu, first field goal try back in the league, and it is perfect. Right down the middle on the final play of the first 30. He's welcome back to the Canadian Football League with 3 points. It gets them that much closer heading into the dressing room. Now 20-16, but BC still won the quarter. Coming up with 3 touchdowns, including this one. First touchdown BC. Vernon Adams to Justin McInnes, who ran into the post. Hangs on to the ball, and the Lions do it. That's led by 14, but 10 late points by the Argonauts. 20-16 BC after that great 2nd quarter. They lead it to start the 2nd half in the hands of Janarian Grant at the 30, 35, and spins around across the 40 where the Lions will take him out of bounds. So Cameron Dukes coming back on, 2nd year out of Lindsey Wilson College in Columbia, Kentucky. And putting that school on the map in terms of football. And that's what, look at what he did last year. He actually filled in for Chad Kelly when he got hurt in Calgary, but he had a couple of starts as well.
Yeah, did a good job. Obviously a great career in college. Lindsey Wilson, an NAIA school, so not NCAA, small college, but excelled there, and certainly smaller schools have been long been a source of talent for the CFL.
The Argos had momentum late in the first half, and they get the ball first. Kadeem Carey, a good first quarter especially, picked up the first Argo touchdown of the season on the receiving end from Cameron Dukes. Carey, the former Stampeder.
You got to think for Kadeem Carey, you go into free agency, and knowing what the Toronto Argonauts are, and I'm referring particularly to that offensive line and their style of play, a downhill runner very similar to A.J. Ouellette, you got to think he jumped at the opportunity when the Toronto Argonauts came calling.
2nd and 5 now, Toronto. And spinning out the other way is Dukes, avoiding the rush from Tehema. And he does complete it to Tommy Neal for his 2nd catch. It's complete near midfield.
You know, I'm always intrigued by the way teams are put together, the moves they make in the off-season and in-season and so on, and how those players are used. Tommy Neal played so well for this team last year that it allowed the Argos to deal from a position of strength, trading Curly Gittens Jr. to Edmonton. That allows them to bring Jake Seresna in, help a defensive line that was going to lose some guys in free agency.
Not enough for the first down, so the sticks do move. Back to Kadeem Carey. Coming in is Tehema, and Carey is slow to get up.
Tehema just kind of stumbled free of the block. I don't think he really even had a chance to gather himself before that one. He's just the bigger body going into that collision. That's the best of Kadeem Carey.
So loss of a yard for Carey on that one. Flags coming out with the snap and throwing it, caught nicely too. The new receiver for the Argos, number 15, Polk. Mackay Polk, his second catch in the CFL. But as mentioned, there was a flag just with the snap of the ball.
Offside against BC. Penalties declined as the play results in a first down.
Well, there you go. It catches. So Polk with another big one for Toronto as they get another first down.
See the BC defense trying to time up that blitz. With the snap count there a little early, Argos get a freebie. Kai Polk makes it count.
First year at a Mississippi State and getting the chance, as mentioned, because of an injury to start the season, to DeMonte Coxie. Now at the BC 47, Argos on the move. Back to Carey. Finds some room. Has much more as he gets it down to the 31. They keep moving. Carey enjoying his first start in double blue.
Kadeem Carey is going to get on a roll here. See him in the backfield to the left of his quarterback. Terrific double team on the nose and up to second level. Ryan Hunter and Peter DeCastro getting it done, left guard and center.
16 touches, Dwayne, for 99 yards. Ground and in the air. And they fake to him that time and get it to Bailey. Another newcomer who has a touchdown for the Argos in his debut for the Boatmen. The former Bomber Bailey with another catch.
Yeah, short gain there as the Argos continue with that combination of running the ball, then play action off the run, moving the pocket. Which I think is a little more of Cameron Duke's comfort zone than necessarily just sitting back there. He's thrown the ball well from the pocket. I think he likes to get out on the perimeter a little bit as well, and he's been effective distributing the ball from there.
He is 17 for 20, just thrown for over 200 yards now on the night. Throwing again, completing again. Deja Brissett breaks free for the Argonaut touchdown. Touchdown number 1 for Brissett in 2024. Touchdown pass number 3 for Cameron Duke.
Pocket collapsing on him a little bit. Just a slight fade from the quarterback to buy himself a little bit of time, knowing that Brissett is going to come free across that middle.
So the Argos had led by 6, then fallen behind by 14, and now they have the lead, 2 points, and Liram Hairelahu makes it a 3-point lead. Toronto back on top by a field goal with 17 unanswered since that big second quarter for BC. 7 plays, 67 yards, capped off by Deja Brissett. Very pleated now on this latest touchdown drive as Cameron Duke's continues to look more comfortable in that spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Great poise. Under pressure a couple times here. You saw him on the scramble, buying time out to the perimeter. First finding Neal, then Polk. Doesn't hurt to have a little bit of Kadeem Carey in your game plan. And Deja Brissett just continues to grow as a CFL receiver. Pretty good dance moves too, channeling his inner Michael Jackson.
Not bad at all. Mackay Polk approves. Mentioned Dukes is 17 of 20. He's 12 of his last 13 now as Vernon Adams will get set to get the ball. BC on the return. Back to Terry Williams at the 10. And still pushing his way up across the 35. So Vernon Adams, look at his numbers in the first half. 11 for 12. He had 1 interception, but had a great stretch in the second quarter, Dwayne, where threw a couple of touchdown passes.
Yeah, VA heated up a little bit. Showing some flashes of that terrific 2023 season. Dealing with a little bit of a hand injury. We'll see how that is. Coming back out here after the break.
Justin McInnis and Travis Fulgham on his first CFL catch, getting the touchdowns, and that is caught. And it's a first down to McInnis. Mentioned had the TD. Talking to Paul Lapalese earlier at halftime, but good first game in this season for McInnis.
And this is part of what you love about McInnis is that catch radius, a 6'5" receiver. The ball doesn't have to be perfectly thrown for him to be able to make that grab. He grabs that one for his quarterback.
Lions from the 47. Adams again, complete to Javon Catoy. Another catch for big Catoy as he rumbles down. Finally taken out of bounds. Royce Mechie there. So just as the Argos were moving, BC moving right back.
Well, speaking of big targets, 6'5", 230-pound Javon Catoy. The size of a tight end, the agility of a slot back. You see him showing a little bit of that elusiveness after the catch here. Terrific effort. From the former Calgary Colt, Langley Ram.
All the way down to the Argo 37 now. Handing off this time and first down. Williams stand back. And that Argo defense is closed for now. Falarin Rimolane in there. Stuffing that run. Lost yardage. They lost about 3. Second down and long coming up.
And there you see BC offensive coordinator Jordan Maksimic. One of the great young coaching minds here in the CFL. Quite a reputation for himself, particularly since arriving on the West Coast and work with Nathan Rourke and now Vernon Adams Jr.
Back at the 40 now in a 2nd and 13. The Lions trailing by 3. Adams, it's caught. Not quite for a first down. It's to Holland who gets it inside the 30. It'll be a 3rd down and short coming up here for BC.
Now it's the Lions' turn to respond after giving up that couple of score. Lead that they had built up in the 2nd quarter.
And Sean White is coming out, so Dell Adams wanted to go for it on 3rd down, a full yard, maybe 2, but the field goal unit is coming on to see if they can tie this game.
Credit Leonard Johnson there with the quick close to prevent Collins from being able to get first down yardage after the catch.
He's spotted by Flintoff at the Argo 36. For the veteran Sean White in his 16th CFL season. He was good on over 94% last year. He's good on that one. They get the field goal and they tie the score. 3rd quarter, BMO Field in Toronto, 23s. Hey, we know Cameron Dukes has some big shoes to fill, but so too does Paul Lapalese. Is filling them pretty nicely, Lapo. I'm sure Matthew Shinetti would approve.
Yeah, I had to do my shoe game. I got the shooter. I got to make sure I represent him. The Toronto Argonauts last year, they established the run. That was their identity, running the football, then they would take explosive shots downfield. I love how they're calling this game. They're running the football. Cameron Duke's taking some easy checkdowns, but they're also getting shot plays. He hit one shot play to Rasheed Bailey for a touchdown. We'll see if he get another one.
And Dukes is rolling out to the right and then taking off. So Cameron Dukes on the run, greeted, and he is taken down by the middle linebacker Josh Woods after he picks up about 7 or 8 yards for Toronto.
A couple of jukes there in the open field on a nice run from Cameron Dukes, but Josh Woods wasn't fooled. Nice job shuffling, staying light on his feet to move with the quarterback and just striking like a cobra to bring him down.
Stopped him in his tracks ultimately, but not before he got over 9 yards. So this is a 2nd and short now. Dukes in. Short yardage. The flag is out. So it's either an easy first down or they got some work to do on 2nd down with that flag out. Wait for the call. Referee Tim Croker.
Offside. BC left defensive end. It's a 5-yard penalty. It makes it a first down.
So it is the easy first down by penalty. Well, they had it anyway, but they go further up and take
Number's
it.
95. BC 95.
Marcus Moore, the number, called in the offside. So it'll be a first down just shy of midfield, just in the Argo zone now, and trying to get another drive going after the Lions came back and at least responded with a field goal. Some good momentum swings in this game. All tied up halfway through the third quarter. An opening night for the Argos and Lions. That's Dan Adeboboye, the ball carrier in his third year with the Argos. His first touch of 2024.
Yeah, good to see Adeboboye back in action as he suffered that late season knee injury a year ago, as he was enjoying a little bit of a breakout and an expanded opportunity late in the season as the Argos were trying to keep a nicked up AJ Ouellette fresh for the playoff run.
Took it down. Now remember, the Argos clinched 2/3 of the way through the season, so yeah, they had a number of players that got more opportunities in those games that didn't matter in the standings. Throwing, completing, Richie Zindani pushed out by Ben Hladek, but he has another first down for Toronto.
Zindani, another part of that homegrown depth in the receiving core. Late season addition for the Argos a year ago is a guy who had some familiarity with Ryan Dinwiddie's system from their time together in Calgary, where Zindani had started the season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
The ball is spotted at the BC 42. 23-23 third quarter. Nemo Field breaking through. Adeboboye with a second carry on this drive, and a good pickup too. It'll be second and short as he gets it inside the Lions 35.
Adeboboye, Toronto native, now in his third season with the double blue. Drafted out of Bryant University.
As Adeboboye stays in. Gets it again. Second down, making it a first. The Adeboboye drive here. It's carry number 3 and inside the 30, and there's a carry. Kadeem, who's at almost 70 yards, 69 yards carrying in this game. Seems to approve of what number 21 is doing.
Yeah, and a little bit of the feeling when Adeboboye was drafted. Of course, that came at a time when the Argos had Andrew Harris, a Canadian at running back. They felt Adeboboye would provide that depth in order for them to maintain the ratio that they would have a Canadian backup at the position. But regardless, even though with Ouellette primarily last year and now Carey, a great option in that backfield.
Well, why not? Goes again, left side. And time Hladek gets a hold of him, although he's still able to get a couple more yards after that. And a busy drive for Dan Adeboboye.
And mixing it up, a couple carries for him between the tackles and attacking the outside. Ben Hladek, terrific athlete for his size, getting out there to make the play. As you see, Lions' outstanding defensive coordinator Ryan Phillips,
who was an outstanding defensive back in his playing career. A lot of it with BC. 2nd and 9 for that shorter gain Adeboboye. The BC 28 settling in his Dukes. Deeper throw, and he was looking there for Rasheed Bailey, who looked like he wanted a call, but it falls incomplete. Third down coming up.
Yeah, Bailey had fought through contact earlier in the route, and it just kind of threw off the timing. I thought it would lead to Dukes looking elsewhere, as Bailey didn't have the separation they might have initially been looking for. You see, he stumbled out of that break after the contact from Patrice Rene. A couple of former Winnipeg Blue Bombers going head-to-head there.
Rene getting the start at cover linebacker, and yeah, Bombers initially drafting him, and he got hurt early in the season in 22, and his season was done. And good deal for BC to pick him up, and seems to be the payoff this year. Is said to have had a very good camp. Yes, getting a starting spot on that Lions defense. So a field goal try for Hairelau, a 34-yard try put down by Haggerty. And another one is good for Hairelau in his first game back in the Canadian Football League in 5 years as the Argos retake the lead by 3. But the sun did come out around the time of kickoff, and really entertaining finish to week 1 here between the Lions and the Argos. 26-23 now. Toronto retaking the lead in the Hairelau field goal. Back to the Lions, and Stanback nowhere to go.
Quincy Moget, the former Lion, starting at the nickel linebacker spot here for Toronto. In on that one. Kevin Ivan, defensive co-coordinator. Again, he and Will Fields.
And how does that work when you have 2 defensive coordinators in terms of calling play?
Yeah, it certainly looks like Ivan's signaling from down there. Will Fields presumably up above, spotting. There's always a possibility that could evolve as the season unfolds.
Adams throws. Sean Amos upset. He was in coverage on Javon Catoy, and a late flag does come out as Amos closed in and is now pleading his case.
Pass interference. Toronto number 8. It's 10-yard penalty. Makes it an automatic first down.
Sean Amos and the Argos faithful seem unconvinced. A pretty tight call there. With that left arm around the waist, I'm sure.
The BC 49, that was intended for Hollins. And Benji Franklin was in there as well, right in front of him. It falls incomplete, so second down coming up.
Second and long situation here.
Here's Benji Franklin. We don't say Benjamin Franklin. Introduced to the Argos late season last year. Got some time. A chance to start. Now a starter in that secondary for Toronto. Blitz coming. Adams gets rid of it. And he has Hollins open too. Right on Franklin, working on him. Has enough for the first down, BC.
Yeah, you saw that time Franklin took kind of a tough angle, trying to undercut the ball as Hollins is working towards the sideline. Bounced it in, then out. But just unable to catch up in time.
Back and forth they go here in the second half. Lions ball, stand back, and a good run left side as he drives it down inside the 35, and it looks like another Lions first down on the legs of William Stanback.
And that run is an example of how Vernon Adams described his friend and running back William Stanback to us this week. As the first words out of his mouth when we asked about him was he said, he falls forward. And just referring to the momentum, the power with which he runs.
Adams throwing, rolling right, and heading towards, well, down near the end zone, a little bit shy of Justin McInnes. Falls down just inside the 5, so incomplete. Second down coming up. But already in range, if need be, for a field goal try for Sean White.
We talked earlier about Benji Franklin and his audition late last season that turned into an opportunity this year. Bear in mind a lot of changes to the Argos secondary, particularly corners. Jamal Peters goes to Hamilton in free agency. Quantez Stiggers selected in the NFL draft this year.
Here's Adams for the second down, pushing them back, and maybe pushing them out of field goal range. It'll be a tougher one. That's Jared Brinkman, big Brinkman on the inside, coming up and getting some heat on Vernon Adams. Second sack of the game for the Argos late here in the third quarter, and pushed back to the 40, so still looking at a 47 now for Sean White.
We talked about the Argos depth in terms of their interior defensive linemen. Jared Brinkman, a big part of that, getting a larger opportunity here. His third season with the Argos. This guy was an absolute monster in college at Northern Iowa.
But it is the punter, Stephen Flintoff, who is out. So they're not going to try the field goal here. Flintoff will punt it. For Janarian Grant, he wanted it just to hit that corner, and not quite. So it rolls into the end zone for a point. So they get a point closer. Took him out of field goal range. That sack on Vernon Adams. We got a 2-point game as his debut after several years in the NFL. He'd been drafted by Houston, coming out of Rice, and it means a lot to him. He's a different style of defensive lineman compared to his father, but the play in the Canadian Football League where his dad started.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, grew up understanding certainly the history, the importance of the league, given his dad's contributions to it. You look at his face, he looks just like Grover. Different players, but both absolutely terrific.
Christian was born 2 years after Grover retired. Grover starred in the CFL from 1981 to 91, all with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, winning a Grey Cup in 1986. John Bowman, you see in the background too. He wasn't too bad when it came to getting heat on quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, Hall of Famer John Bowman.
That's Christian's coach now, D-line coach in BC. This is first game after several years in the NFL. Argo ball still leading by 2. And back to Kadeem Carey after we saw Dan Adeboboye at running back in the previous drive. Josh Woods in on the tackle.
Woods out of UCLA. Kind of split time in that linebacking core partway through last season, but really kind of established himself as a full-timer.
This will be the final play of the third quarter. Dukes, he has lots of time. Gets rid of it. It's incomplete. Carries the closest one to it. So third down coming up, and it looks like to start the fourth quarter, the Argos have the lead, but they'll be punting the ball away. Entertaining third. McKinnis had a touchdown earlier, and Rasheed Bailey in the first half. In the first half, but you know, Cameron Dukes looking good in this game, and of course Vernon Adams as well, and back and forth they go. Could be an interesting final 15.
Yeah, and overall, I think one of the things you look at, and I go back to Cameron Duke's interview with Lapo at halftime, and he talked about taking care of the football, putting it in the hands of his playmakers, not trying to do too much. I think he's done a pretty good job of that. You know, I mean, he had the one play with the fumble in the first half, but only the one turnover. They're winning in terms of time of possession, first downs, and so on. Taking what's given to them, not trying to force anything.
Adams 15 of 18 for 237 yards, a couple of touchdowns. And they're about to get the ball back too, as John Haggerty will punt to start the fourth quarter. A 2-point Argo lead. They trailed by 4 heading into the dressing room at halftime. Haggerty faces some heat, but does get it away for Terry Williams. Chase back inside the 15. And takes a hit out. A flag comes down. Tyshawn Blackburn, the rookie, number 0, coming in and fired up on special teams as Adams comes back on again.
Officials are sorting the penalties down there.
During their turn holding, BC number 27. First down, BC.
Jordan Perriman called for the hold. So it pushes the Lions back to start a little bit further.
You see the matchup, Perriman trying to catch up. And pulls down Quincy Bourget. That'll back things up here for the Lions. Long way to go for VA and company.
Lions back home, their home opener. Expected to be a sellout against the Calgary Stampeders next Saturday. The Argos will have to bye next week. Lions down 2, starting from their 8. The first down for Burton Adams. Faking the stand back, throwing to McInnes. It's up around the 13 as he is pushed out of bounds by the safety, Royce Metchie.
Always a little limited when you get backed up in your own territory. You want to play it conservatively and limit the risk of a costly mistake down here. Just a quick hitter along the sideline for McInnes.
So the offensive coordinator, Jordan Maximic for BC. And a decision here at 2nd and 5 at the Lions 13. Big play coming here. Pressure coming off to the left. And it is caught by Hollins. And out of bounds as well for Alexander Hollins. And a big first down here for BC.
And nice touch here from Adams. We'll take a look right along the sideline here as Hollins pulls this one in. Oh, looked like, I think that right foot was out as he caught the football.
Well, only needs 1 foot in the Canadian Football League, but
if the other one is out first.
And then, yep, right there.
Right, just where he was in his stride, I think the left foot was up and the right foot was out of bounds.
Challenging the previous play for a completed pass.
Yeah, this looks like it could be a good challenge for the Argos. And the command center has a few angles to work with here, and there's a live look inside the command center, always based in Toronto, as they evaluate whether or not this is a catch for Hollins. But it certainly looks, from what we saw, a possibility like this is coming back.
That's close as to when the ball actually sort of settles in his arms.
I was going to say, does he have possession with the left foot down? That's the question.
Yeah. I think he's okay. The other
so there
challenge.
you go. He's got the ball, and yeah, that left foot is on the turf.
Yeah, just, I think part of the debate as well is you look at how he catches the ball. He doesn't catch the ball cleanly in his hands. Right, it kind of goes off the pads, and there's a bit of a bobble there, which makes it even closer. But I think he's going to be okay.
Okay, so command center took a look, made a decision, and off to referee Tim Croker now to announce it.
After review, the run along the field stands. It's completed pass.
So there you go, ruling that left foot was just down enough while he had possession of the football before the right one went out of bounds. And that is a big first down, BC. They were deep in their zone. That was a 2nd down play, so they got a first down up at their 29. Early 4th quarter, down by 2, and swinging it out. And it's off to Hollins again, who has taken down Metchie there, and Wynton McManus as well.
Metchie, the free safety, University of Guelph product, acquired a couple of years back in a trade in exchange for linebacker Cameron Judge. One that I would say has worked out for both teams.
And on 2nd down, stand back. He turns a corner as he ran off to the right, and he finds that first down marker on the 2nd and 3. Drive continues.
The Lions just chipping away to start this one off. You find yourselves kind of waiting for them to take another deep shot. having success to Travis Fulgham. First half.
Play fake. Deep look. Into double coverage, too. That one's intended for Hollins. And Deshaun Amos had an interception earlier in this game. Involved in the coverage there of Hollins. So 2nd and 10 coming up.
You can see Hollins work all the way across the field. On this one, Amos right with him over the top.
Second down. Play clock. Just about at 0. They just get it off. And it would look like it was deflected but caught over the middle by McInnes for a first down BC. Another big second down play.
And Vernon Adams again demonstrating some touch on this ball just over the outstretched hands of Winton McManus.
That close to being deflected. And McInnes, ball has a clear path to him for another big catch down in the Argo zone at their 49 as McManus is fired up as he's heading off.
Winton McManus, certainly one of the leaders of this Toronto Argonaut defense. He heads to the sidelines. Jack Cassar, Carleton University, and at middle linebacker in his place.
Toronto 49. Drive continues. BC. Adams to the right and out of bounds. Hollins the closest receiver. So another 2nd and 10 is coming up. But at the very least, BC has managed to flip the field. McManus, an all-star last year. Finally grabs a refresher. Talked about his leadership, already a leader on this team, but that much more so with the change. Some veterans leaving after last season. 2nd and 10. Adams, it's caught. And it is down to the 45. So 3rd down is coming up. Spot the ball at about the Argo 44, but still 5 yards shy of a first down.
Deshaun White. An attempt from about 51 here.
Well, the last one, if you're wondering, would have been a shorter field goal try when they punted going the other way. But there's a pretty significant breeze now at the back of Sean White. Explains why they didn't try the field goal going the other way. 51-yard try for the veteran White. It is straight. It is through. And it is BC leading again, this time by a point after a big clutch field goal there from Sean White. Lions made some second down conversions and got close enough for that to get in front again. 27-26.
Find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Mama, I got what you need. You need to feel the buzz. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love.
50 Cent announced for the home opener next week against Calgary. That was a reaction by the Lions players when they found out that 50 Cent would be performing next week at BC Place. Concert kickoff next Saturday. Mar Doman making that a big event. Remember LL Cool J last year? They played Edmonton in their home opener, and they're expecting a sellout at BC Place next Saturday. 50 Cent performing. It's Cameron Dukes been performing tonight. Mackay Polk has another catch, shy of a first down, and the Argos are trailing once again now after BC went ahead by a point on that Sean White field goal.
Went ahead by a point. Kind of a long drive, it seemed, for BC, keeping Cameron Dukes on the sideline for a little while here. Sean White, clutch last season, absolutely terrific, making 94.3% of his field goal. 50 makes on 53 attempts. He just matched his season long.
Age 38, trying to set up the screen there to Brissett. It goes too far for him on that second down play. So a 3rd and 3, suddenly a 2 and out coming up here for the Argos as the punting team and John Haggerty will come on. The Argos did not lose at all at home last year. A perfect 9-0. Of course, they lost an even bigger game, Eastern Final, to Montreal. Talking about regular season, but BC has not won here in Toronto in 4 years, not since 2019.
21, son!
Haggerty for Williams, driving him back to, he chased him down to the 5. And he gets 5 after that. Blackburn again. Quentin McManus in on teams. And again, Vernon Adams will start deep in his zone from the 10-yard line. Leading by 1, barely 10-minute coverage unit with Terry Williams there. And down comes Quentin McManus and Tyshawn Blackburn as well. And Mickey Donovan loves that. One of the rewards for a special teams coordinator, Lapo.
Yeah, I was thinking about Mickey Donovan this offseason. How about the phone call from the personnel department? Hey, we lost Trevor Hoyt. Sorry you lost him. Oh, yeah, by the way, Boris Beatty's gone too. Oh, by the way, just a little thing. Javon Leake is gone too. Holy, Mickey must have been like, what is going on to my special team? But I thought the team did a great job in bringing in Liram Hajrullahu, Fraser Sopik, and also having a great retainer in Janarian Grant. So good fix on the personnel department.
Yeah, no kidding, Lapo. I think especially with the return of the year Javon Leake had, but it's like, bad news is we lost Leake. The good news is we got Janarian Grant, so call that maybe a saw off the way Leake was last year. Historically, though, Janarian Grant, his body of work with Winnipeg last year, early in the season, he had a return for the ages. I think he beat just about everyone in the coverage unit of Saskatchewan to take it in for a touchdown. Explosive return. 2nd and 6. The BC 14. They've got him. Ball's out, but it's whistled dead. And the Lions will have to kick it away from deep in their own zone. A little discussion after the fact.
Yeah, you see the 2 tackles, Broxton and Perkins, looking up at the big screen, trying to figure out exactly what went wrong there.
So just wondering, the ball came out before he went down, but they had blown the play dead. For forward progress by Adams. So they don't take over, but they're pretty happy with what their defense just did to pin BC deep. 1-point game. Lions leading, but Flintoff is standing a good 10 yards deep in his zone. Still Tim Croker in a discussion.
Please reset the game clock to 8:53. 8:53, please.
Regarding the clock. Punting unit on for BC.
So an opportunity here, particularly if they're able to get a good return from Janarian Grant in that return unit, for the Argos to have fantastic field position to start this possession.
Which is more.
Reset the game clock to 9:20, please. 9:20.
Which is more important when you look at the uprights and the flags. The wind is blowing against the Argos, mentioning earlier why BC didn't try a Sean White field goal in the 3rd quarter against that breeze, which sometimes this goes completely dead and then sometimes it really gusts and picks up, but it has been going against the Argos. Janarian Grant back for this one and already taking it in the Lions zone at the 50. He backtracks, cuts it up, 40, 35. Oh, Janarian Grant, new to the Argos, but certainly not new to returning punts. This against Saskatchewan. This last year, this is an amazing return early last season. Look what he does.
Making people miss, fighting off contact. Showing off the wheels down that sideline. Argo's got a close-up look at him themselves.
That was in Grey Cup 2022, a couple of years ago. That was the start of the fourth quarter when he exploded out of the gate and returned. And there he is now wearing number 3. But he missed a lot of last season with injury with Winnipeg. And a fresh start here in Toronto. 8:47 and counting. 1st and 10 at the BC 34. It can eat Carey, who's going backwards. Loss of yardage back near the 40 for the Argos.
Yeah, Toronto had done a decent job with some of their misdirection in terms of the ball handling as to whether Carey had the ball, whether Dukes had the ball, and so on. But the BC Lions defense does a fantastic job sniffing this one out. Sione Tehema has been very noticeable for me in this ball game, coming off the edge for the Lions.
That was a 7-yard loss for Carey, so 2nd and 17 at the BC 41. Stepping up is Dukes, trying to take off, get some yardage, getting a little bit closer for Hairelahu, and no chance of a first down there, but gets it down closer to the 30 again. So the field goal unit will come on, and what had been a stiffer breeze does seem to be calming down right now.
As you see, Dukes just taking whatever he can get to protect the field position there. Low risk play.
Hairelahu is 2 for 2 in his return to the CFL tonight, longest of 37. This would be to retake the lead by 2. 38-yard try. Lirim Hairelahu put down by John Haggerty, and it is perfect. Another lead change in this opener for the Lions and the Argos. Dukes in Toronto. Back Copa America coming up, and Argentina first up, the reigning World Cup champions. Back here at BMO, opening night, Argos Lions. It is close. Lots of lead changes. A field goal by Lirim Hairelahu has Toronto in front now. 29-27. Past the midway point of the fourth quarter. More heat on Adams, and down he goes again. Taken down at the Lions 25. Jared Brinkman into the act again with the belly rub selling.
Vernon Adams saw this one coming. The last second there, you'll see Brinkman. This gets underneath David Neville a little bit. The guard on that one. Great push from that defensive line. Brinkman and Ceresna have tackled.
Brinkman with 2 sacks on the night. 2nd and 22, and it's caught for a first down. Oh, what a catch there by Aiden Eberhardt. His first catch of the 2024 season. That's a big one for BC.
Yeah, Eberhardt just wins a fight in the air for this ball. Contested catch. I think it was the halfback, Mason Pierce, who comes flying out here to get a hand on him as that ball arrives. Good concentration, good strong catch. Going up to get it in his hands and bring it down.
It's his 2nd year out of Wyoming. He played in a couple of games for BC, but of course, all the change at receiver, getting more of a chance, and there's a big one on his first catch. Back to the ground and stand back left side to pick up about 3 more yards for BC just across midfield.
That Eberhardt catch, worth one more look. VA steps up with the delivery. Eberhardt elevating to pull it in.
2nd year out of Wyoming, where when he first walked on campus there, his quarterback was a guy by the name of Josh Allen. Second and 8 now after the stand-back pickup at the Toronto 53. What a game. Adams, pressure, gets rid of it. It's caught by stand-back. First down and more. And Johnson finally taking him down. But here come the Lions, right back on the move, trailing by 2.
Yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic play by Vernon Adams to stay alive. The pocket closing in on him. You watch how it's almost a no-look pass. He's stepping up in the pocket and just slings it across his body to the right. to stand back to pick up that first down. Looks like he's going to just run upfield with the ball here. Catches stand back in his peripheral vision, gets it to him.
Adams is 23 for 28 for 340 yards. Handing off on that first down. Stand back again. Driving down close to the 30. This has the look of one of those games where the last possession wins. Back and forth they go.
Yeah, just under 4 minutes here now, and you got to think time management is going to be huge for both of these teams at this point.
It started again deep in their zone. They got out of it. In the Argo zone now, pressing down near the 30 in a 2nd and 6. 3:38 in the clock. Pressure coming again, and down he goes. The ball comes out. Still fighting for it. And it's Toronto football. Jordan Williams coming up with it. Not to be confused with former Argo linebacker Jordan Williams, who retired. This Jordan Williams, a D lineman in his first year, but more heat, Dwayne, by the Argos up front.
Yeah, you've got Serezna up top, Jordan Williams beside him on that defensive line. Both of them get a pretty good push here. Meet you at the quarterback. Serezna pops it free. As you mentioned, new Jordan
Previous
Williams.
play is under review by the command center.
Comes up with the ball.
Serezna already with a sack in this game, his debut for the Argos. A live look at the command center. And reviewing this play at a critical moment, too, with the Lions back in scoring range, down 2 points. To turn it over now, with 3.5 minutes to go.
Field goal. Hey, if it's a miss, you know where we're going. It's out.
Ruled a fumble. Ruled Argo football. Here's Tim Croker.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. First down from.
Argo defense rises up. They've been getting heat on Vernon Adams, and that time he coughed it up. Jake Serezna forcing it out.
Just a terrific bull rush by Serezna to get there. Jordan Williams stays with it to secure the recovery.
You talked about clock management now. The Argos do lead, but only by 2. The Lions can get the ball back. They can still win it on a field goal.
Timeout BC. Please reset the game clock to 3:21. 3:21.
As Rick Campbell calls a time out at a critical point, they'll change that to 3:21 left in the 4th quarter. Serezna passing out the praise. Robbie Smith on the left there, and Brinkman. Big guys inside. Brinkman had a couple of big plays, couple of sacks on Vernon Adams. But that one by Serezna, forcing a fumble, has really changed things now in this game that, as said, has gone back and forth.
You got to think we'll get a steady diet of Kadeem Carey here.
Well, the Lions don't mind having that in their diet right now, because Carey has found the yards hard to come by, and once again, that's Sione Tuhema there to greet him in behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Just as I was thinking that Carey was going to be getting the ball, Tuhema was thinking exactly the same thing. Got there in a hurry to snuff that one out.
So it just winds under 3 minutes. They haven't officially given the 3-minute warning yet, but still an eternity in the CFL, especially in a 2-point game. But this is a big 2nd and long coming up here, or else the Argos are going to have to give BC the ball right back. Here's Dukes with time, completes it to Carey, has some room ahead. He gets up to the 45. That is still shy of a first down by about 3 yards. So a 3rd down is coming up here for the Argos. 2:35 to go on the clock. And the warning is officially given, and 2 full yards on that 3rd down here for Toronto. Yeah, quite the finish in store in a 2-point game. That is Thursday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific time. Join us then. Stay with us now, though. Just a couple of minutes to go, and we got to finish here. The Argos on a 3rd and 2, and John Haggerty back at his 30. The punted to Terry Williams. BC is down 2, needing to drive in the remaining time for at least a field goal to win it.
Great punt.
Beautiful punt by Haggerty. And it rolls right back for Williams. And the coverage is there. He does well, actually, just to get up to the 10. And it rolled in for a rouge. It'd be a 3-point game, but still, Mickey Donovan loving that. Just a beautiful punt by Haggerty.
Yeah, and this is the effect of the Australian-style punt, right? With that backspin, usually you think that ball is going to bounce into the end zone. Often, again, intuitively, returners let the ball bounce over your head, take the field position depending on score, etc. But that one perfectly bounces back in to stay in the field of play for Haggerty, giving the Argos the long field to defend that they were seeking.
Yeah, I was going to say it would have been a 3-point lead, but BC would have started much further up the field. So back at their 15, and that great punt by Haggerty. 4-man rush. And he gets rid of it and greeted right away for lost yardage. Wynton McManus coming in on William Stanback.
Wynton McManus has been a force here in the second half for the Toronto Argonauts. We touched briefly on it at the top, but with Jordan Williams departing, McManus moves into the middle of this Toronto Argonaut defense. He had most frequently played on the weak side. Jonathan Jones started there. We've seen a lot of Fraser Sopik as a weak side receiver here, weak side linebacker rather, in the second half, but McManus continuing to be a force wherever he lines up.
It was no gain at 2nd and 10. More heat on Adams, who has to throw it away. Got a hand on him. Folarin right back inside the end zone, who wants a safety call, wants 2 points for the Argos. As Adams had to throw that away, Folarin all over him.
Yeah, and they move Rimolade around a little bit now. Usually at defensive end, they start him off the line and bring him inside. He just keeps the motor chugging here. Vernon Adams trying to escape. You saw Rimolade.
BC number 3. It's a loss of down. It's 3rd down.
So not a safety.
Yeah, he got rid of the ball before he went into the end zone, or just as he was at the goal line. He wasn't in the end zone when he threw this ball.
But it is, they threw the flag. It is intentional grounding. They lose it down, and they are back just barely outside their end zone. They're right at the 1. And this is it. 1:34 on the clock. BC down 2, and they got to go on a 3rd and 24. We welcome viewers watching baseball. The finish here in Toronto. Dramatically, Vernon Adams needs 24 yards. Chucks it down. It's incomplete. Incomplete. And the Argos, with a 2-point lead, will take over near the Lions goal line with 1:25 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Well, Vernon Adams almost pulls out a little bit of magic here. A terrific defensive play from second-year man Mason Pierce to get a piece of this football and prevent Alexander Hollins from making the catch. Here you'll see Adams with the escape to the outside, little high step. Throws a dart. But Pierce with terrific coverage deflects that one. There you see it off the helmet of the intended receiver, Hollins, after being deflected by the Argonaut defensive back.
So the Argo offense comes on, and what has been a terrific half by the Toronto defense for getting heat on that man, Vernon Adams. Cameron Dukes looking for the points to put this one away, and he does. Touchdown, Toronto. Dukes keeps it. He gets it. And from a 2-point lead, they're now a point after try away from making it a 2-score game. 1:22 to go. So a big extra point here coming up for Hairolau to make it 9.
Yeah, it looks like the Argos are leaving their offense on to go for 2 here.
If you kick the one, you get it to 2 scores.
Yeah.
If you go for 2 and you don't get it, it's still 8 points and a minute and a half to go.
And not sure if the fear here against kicking against the wind, having already missed an extra point, and the fear of maybe Terry Williams returning that for 2 points against you, presumably driving the decision.
So Ryan Dinwiddie calling a timeout to think this over more. Do they go for 1? Do they go for 2? As said, if
Timeout, Toronto
puts it through, then academic. It's a 9-point game, and BC would need 2 scores in a minute 22.
You see Dukes finding the soft spot. Off tackle there, good patience rather than just cramming it up the clogged middle.
He was used to the short yardage rule with Chad Kelly starting last year. So now they changed their mind. They will go for the 1 with Hairolau out. And did he push that right? He did. Terry Williams bringing it out. Terry Williams still moving and finally taken down. Okay, so with that miss and the extra point, it is an 8-point game, so not done yet for BC. Still 122 to go. They need the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to tie it.
Big one. We've had a couple of great finishes to wrap up week number 1. 2024 Canadian Football League action.
Saskatchewan at the big comeback against Edmonton, spoiling the party for the Elks yesterday. Ended up being a little bit closer with Hamilton and Calgary. Ultimately, Stampeders won that one, and of course Winnipeg beating Montreal in the opener. But a lot of pressure on Vernon Adams tonight, especially in the second half.
Yeah, the Argonaut defense has stepped up in a big way, not allowing Vernon Adams and the BC Lions offense to unlock their big play potential. Give a little assist to the John Haggerty punt that provided the field position that allowed the Argos to just pin their ears back on that last possession and force a turnover.
They have increased their lead from 2 points up to 8 now. The touchdown and the missed extra point. 8-point difference, still 1 score. Kickoff coming. 1:22 on the clock. And big Josh Banks grumbling, getting his chance to return a kick, and breaks a tackle and get a defensive tackle on teams. Banks making the most of his chance to carry the rock. Gets it up across the 50.
Yeah, and I'm not sure it's exactly the way the Lions would have wanted things to unfold on special teams, where you'd probably just as soon. Well, Josh Banks was living his best life there, dropping the shoulder on people. But I suspect that the Lions would have just as soon had him doing that as a blocker without the ball and let Terry Williams handle the rock.
Well, the hitting part is no problem. Not used to it carrying a football, but not bad. Up to the 50. That's where they start. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. 1:18 on the clock here in the fourth quarter at BMO. 3 to the left. Adams over the middle and wide open. McInnes inside the Argo 40. They got something going here. 1:10 on the clock. Still lots of time.
Yeah, that's a big chunk on one play with over a minute to go. Clutch throw from Adams, and Justin McInnes just continues to prove his worth in this BC Lions offense.
Some tension for Rick Campbell in this season debut here in Toronto. The Lions not done yet. 107, first down. Argo 32, deep look. And just down the left for Hollins, closest receiver, and sails out of bounds, incomplete, second down.
Yeah, pretty well covered. Adams throws it to his outside shoulder. That one just sails out of bounds on him. Obviously are just trying to keep anything from going over their heads, but the Lions have enough time to take advantage and hit a couple underneath if the Argos back off here.
See what they do when Toronto's defense, 363 yards passing for Vernon Adams in this season debut. The pressure coming! He's got him! He's got him again! And down goes Adams. Back at the Argo 50.
This is Folarin Orimolade at his best.
BC.
Talk about bend from a defensive lineman. This is it. Cutting down the angle, just dips the shoulder and gets underneath Kent Perkins to get to the quarterback virtually untouched. Perkins thinks he's in position, and just that dip, that bend, gets Orimolade home. That is bread and butter from the Argonauts' number 7.
6 times the Argos have sacked Vernon Adams. Very busy with the pressure in the second half especially. So 3rd and 21. Adams faced with it again. Deep. Here we go. 1-on-1 and too far for McInnes. Turned around, got an arm up, but no. And so BC will turn it over on downs. 48 seconds to go, and with an 8-point lead, the Argos have another chance to finish this thing off.
That sack was absolutely huge, creating that 3rd and extra long. Looking for a jump ball with the 6'5" McInnes along the sidelines. Pretty good job by Leonard Johnson to stay in position and not risk a pass interference call on the play.
Well, BC had a chance, but looks to be done now. Turnovers in their last 3 possessions. There's 48 seconds in victory formation now for Cameron Dukes. Had 2 starts, went 1-1, filling in for Chad Kelly last year in games that didn't matter in the standings. One in Winnipeg, and then another one at the end of the season in Ottawa. And this one at home. And Dukes is in good shape to win it now, it would appear, with 8-point lead and 45 seconds and counting on the clock. And with great work by that defensive front especially to put heat on Vernon Adams in the second half. And that man, Folarin Orimolade, the sack leader for the Argos last year. He had 10. Downing it again. With seconds to go in week 1 of this Canadian Football League regular season campaign. Certainly, and rightfully so, questions about the Argos at quarterback. But Dukes 21 for 27, 254 yards, 3 touchdown passes, none intercepted. And he is seconds away from savoring a victory in the Argos season opener here at home at BMO Field. Throws that one back.
Yeah, there were 25 seconds left. The Argos needed to eat up some more time.
So they just throw it back to Dejan Brissett. So completes that pass. And they celebrate. And wow, what an interesting game. Back and forth they went in the second half, but ultimately Toronto's defense really stood up.
Yeah, they did. The Argos rebounded well after BC looked like they were going to take over this game in the second quarter. Big play offense for the Lions.